Hello, Hare Krishna. My name is Jvalamukhi Dasi, and I am recording video number 9 in the series called the J Files, my video blog of the book that I've written called My Hoo-Hoo and the Destiny of the Universe, the Golden Age, the Great Sinister Movement, and the Firewalk of a Hare Krishna Kid. This next entry I've titled Willingness, the Gift of Critical Mass, and it also explains why I chose that title for my book. Why are we here? Why are we suffering? How does one become free? These questions are the beginning of human life. Otherwise, we are all on the same platform as animals. Srila Prabhupada quoted us this from the ancient texts on the science of the soul. Old age, disease, death, and rebirth affect everyone, regardless of one's religion or nationality. We all want happiness. We all want freedom. But how many really understand how to achieve them? I sure didn't, but I was about to find out. Growing up in the ISKCON Hare Krishna temples, the answers to all of these questions was simple. Just chant Hare Krishna and be happy, Prabhu. You're not that body. Simple for the simple. I guess I wasn't that simple. I thought to myself, I am willing to do whatever it takes to heal. I'm in pain. My hoo-hoo is on fire. It's been like this for 4 whole years. I am so over this. I've tried everything. Why won't it work? What gives? I need permanent relief right now. Krishna, I am willing to do whatever it takes to get to the bottom of my private little hell. No pun intended. Please show me the root cause of this. In polite conversation, the hoo-hoo is not discussed. People dress up, they speak cordially, and pretend that they are not thinking about sex all the time. I suppose I could skip this part of the story and just go on with the rest of it, but it is intrinsic to the telling of my tale. Without my hoo-hoo screaming at me to pay attention, I would never have understood Krishna consciousness. I'd still be like most others, respecting and worshiping people who ought to be in jail, and just chanting and chanting, thinking myself rightly situated due to my external practice, without getting to the root of why I'm here in the material world in the first place. No, I am very grateful to my hoo-hoo for forcing me to learn all of these lessons. When accused of brainwashing, Srila Prabhupada referred to this modern Western civilization as licking the vagina civilization. He was not at all afraid to speak of it as it is, and neither am I. This simple desire to not have my hoo-hoo be permanently on fire, burning, itching, and painful, led me on a descent deep into the underworld. This sacred part of the female body held many dark secrets that my conscious mind had no continuous awareness of, but my physical body most certainly did. How body memory works, mind programming, the subconscious, how the false memory hoax fits into all of this, complex dissociative trauma, etc., will be explained later in detail, but for now. My vagina had been trying to get my attention for years. As an aside, a woman named Rose Rosetree, different from the person I was speaking of before, who does face readings based on auras and such, did a reading for me before I had children. She reported that my root chakra was like ice and suggested that I be more open to sexuality. Ha, I thought to myself, what does she know about true spirituality? I'm a devotee of Krishna. I have no need of that anymore. I'm spiritual. Well, 15 years later, I'm still working on reconstructing how true health, spirituality, and sex all go together, still untangling all of the crossed wires, misunderstandings, misrepresentations, the perversions, and vicious, purposeful attacks in the name of God and Srila Prabhupada on my very sense of self, my very sense of groundedness. What I'd done so far was to try to shut it up, clear the symptoms with Western medicine drugs, or even natural remedies. Sure, they helped some for a short while, but the pain and the burning always came back, and with a vengeance. I changed my diet too, which gave a little relief, until I ate a morsel of sugar or even smelled it. There were times when I couldn't even sit down. It was so painful. I have a very high pain tolerance. I've given birth to children without so much as a painkiller at home. But this was getting to be enough. Critical mass had been reached. Help. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. In the years that would come, a map was revealed to me, a path through hell for anyone else who was ready. The knowledge my teacher gave me is not new. How to apply eternal truths and rekindle our dormant love for the Supreme Lord is no small task in an age of violence and immorality. This was the sole purpose for which A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world. My teacher is his direct disciple. Srila Prabhupada said, I did not come to your country to change your religion. I came to remind you of what you have forgotten, God. He reminded anyone who was seeking to understand life from a higher perspective, unbounded by sectarian doctrine and bodily considerations, just how simple and blissful this path to God really is. The ancient teachings I'd grown up with would come alive to be my guide. My experiences on the path to healing caused me to question everything to the core. The teacher who I soon was to meet had imbibed these lessons on a heart level. She had gone through her own healing journey of recovery. She was a person of integrity, sincerity, and courage, who was to hold my hand and my heart through times so terrifying, I did not know if I would live to see the dawn. A teacher was coming who made that choice to conquer the lower self by the higher self through daily spiritual practice, prayer, and constant effort to clear her own heart and mind of the coverings which kept her from her original relationship with God. She had gone through the process of recovery from her own childhood abuse by the application of spiritual principles along with the emotional clearing work which she eventually learned herself. She would give me the perspective I needed, the one she imbibed from her teacher, her spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, whose books and teachings would give me the strength and the courage to enter into the darkness, assured that the light was always there, even if there were times when I could not perceive it at all. I can say with complete and absolute conviction that no one is forgotten here, no matter what they have done. Every single soul is remembered. Everyone continues to get another chance, however long it takes, not necessarily in a human body, but the Lord is always there in the heart of the living being, the well-wisher. And yes, there is punishment, but not for the sake of punishment, not vindictively, only for redemption, to come to accountability, to come to humility. I like to think of it as compassionate, unsentimental correction. One cannot enter into that eternal loving relationship with God without this quality of unconditional willingness. False pride and material designations close the door to the Lord's abode, within and without. Every soul has an offering of love to make to God, who eagerly awaits to receive it. Although, through the misuse of free will, that soul may wander for many, many lifetimes in forgetfulness. But one day, through the therapeutic effect of suffering, an awakening will take place. That's why there's so much suffering going on today, because the Lord is saying, Jeev Jago, wake up, sleeping soul. Wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you sleep on the lap of the witch called illusion? Wake up, wake up. Come home, come home. Just take these names, these holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Rama. So many unlimited names the Lord has. Call them and come home. But one day, through the therapeutic effect of suffering, an awakening will take place. These jewels of understanding were hard won, and sometimes I thought the price too dear. But once paid, I never looked back and held each shining precious gift of revelation with a profound sense of wonder and gratitude. I say till this day, I would pay it all again for the gifts on the other side. And that is saying something. Gift number 2. I meet my mentor. I was in for the ride of my life, lifetimes. Krishna knew I needed a guide who had a bumper car, a seatbelt, and a map. A short time after the cranial sacral classes with Rose, Martin was out of work for over a month with his almost yearly attack of serious lower back pain. He could barely move. My neighbor suggested I consult with a gifted health practitioner, Dr. Karen Silverstein, also known as Kamradevi Dasi, who lived close by. We made an appointment and went to go see her. She made a house call for his second visit. Martin was stretched out on the couch, immobile. At one point, his pain was so bad, he was crawling on the ground on all fours to get from one room to another. I even managed to somehow carry him once. Kamra sat in a chair next to him on the couch, not touching him. Eyes closed, she held out her hands in front of her, like this. One hand over the other as if she were turning a large invisible dial on her upward palm. To my amazement, he started to move slightly in the midsection, and pop, his spine went back into place. She had not even touched him. What was I seeing? How was this possible? I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it. I was an instant fan. Within 2 weeks, he was smiling and mobile again. She insisted that this was a teachable skill. And it's true. Now I can do similar adjustments over the phone. She even offers workshops on how to do it. What is magic to the ignorant is science to the knower. A week went by. I lay on my bed, nursing my youngest little boy, his soft baby hands in mine, while I looked at his little ducky lips drinking my breast milk, his half-closed eyes, and the humming sounds he made. I felt grateful for this love. The pain, the reminder that I had unfinished business, something to deal with before I could go forward in the best way, was back. My neck and headache for the past month were getting worse. I took my older boys to school and the baby to the sitter. Martin offered me the 2 extra paid-for sessions he no longer needed. Normally, I postpone self-care or have none at all. I've had issues with money and doctor people, but this time I went, eager to find someone who could help me. Kamradevi, or Dr. Karen Silverstein, has many years of study in herbal medicine, emotional clearing work, and energy medicine, as well as iridology. She had helped Martin. I had faith that she would be able to do something for me as well. Looking into my eyes during the fascinating iridology session, she pointed out a vein in the white part of my eye, the sclera, and remarked with a quiet matter-of-factness, "See this line? It shows that you are judgmental." What? Me? Apparently, she could see the mind's subtle conditioning in the eye structure. At one point, she asked me, "Do you connect with your children, or do you take care of them more out of a sense of duty?" I was taken aback by her question. It was so non-judgmental and curious in an analytical, diagnostic kind of way. but painful for me to realize that what she said was right. I love my children. Why was I afraid of getting close to them in the deepest part of my heart? And how was she able to recognize that? I never spoke about it to anyone. Since then, I'm being extra conscious to connect with them for real and be present and not miss my beautiful, blessed life. I knew she was right though, but hearing that was really hard. How interesting, I thought. She perceived such subtleties just from looking carefully at eyeballs with a high-powered camera. Then she was pointing out some health conditions and said that they were related to non-acceptance of having this body. And do you feel like a victim? Me? Victim? Never! No one gets rid of their candida until they get over their anger, she said. Mahaprabhu gave me some affirmation to say. It went as follows. I accept being here in this world. I said it. Suddenly, I felt completely repulsed and angry, very, very angry, like I just wanted to leave the room and never come back. I had no idea I had any issue with this at all until she gave me that affirmation to say. But I was angry with her for some reason, though I couldn't figure out why. This is the first time we had really spoken. She challenged me with what I thought I knew about myself. Her great stock of realization and perceptiveness would be the railing I held onto before I knew that I needed one. We finished the session with dietary recommendations, and I went to the car. Inside of my chest was a fierce emotion just below the surface that really wanted to come out. As I got into the car and drove away, I decided to let it come out, and I gave voice to the feeling. All by myself, in the car, driving to pick up the boys from school, I observed myself having a raging temper tantrum, complete with fingers digging into the steering wheel, screams coming from the deepest part of my abdomen that left my throat hoarse, and lots of no, no, bam, bam, bam on the steering wheel. I composed myself before I picked up the boys, and as the witness self, I reflected on the experience. It was true. What she said was true. Indeed, I was furious at having a body at all. And yes, I did feel like a victim of this world. Why did I have to come back here at all? Now I see how childish this mentality is. I was just like my 2-year-old, pitching a huge, fully felt tantrum, not knowing my own self-interest or implication of action. For a few weeks preceding my visit to Mahaprabhu, the strangest thing would happen. While sitting at a red light, my heart would start to race for no reason. Is it going to turn green yet? Is it going to turn green yet? Is it? Bam, 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 bam. What about now? What about now? Thud, thud, thud. Stomach lurch. Ugh. Or the phone would ring and I would jump out of my skin. Again, heart pounding. Da-doom, 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 da-doom. And I would have to run and pick up the phone. It literally hurt, my stomach lurching up into my chest. What was happening to me? Me? Having panic attacks? About what? During one such driving outing, as I turned the corner in the small, quaint downtown I lived in, I forced myself to take a deep, slow breath, hoping it would slow my racing heart. I began to say an affirmation. It turned into another song I call Steady and Slow. And I'm going to go ahead and sing this one because I think you'll be able to make out my words. I am calm, I am peaceful, my heart beats steady and slow. I am calm, I am peaceful, I forgive and let go. I am calm, I am peaceful, my heart beats steady and strong. I am calm, I am peaceful. I let go, I let God. In the past I've given much power to being a victim. Now no longer do I give being a victim any power. I sit tall, I stand straight, my spine in a line, shoulders back, core engaged. I lead with my heart, I lead with my heart. Though small and ordinary, I am yet extraordinary, blazing, brilliant, full of knowledge and bliss, eternal. I am fearless, I am fearless, and from above, from below, I breathe in deep and feel the flow, and deep connection to my source. I am whole, I am whole. And when again the wheel turns, fixed heart, mind, words, and deeds, no longer on this fleeting body, but in lasting love of Shri Hari. Thank you for your attention. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.